Hello and welcome to the Health Wizard podcast with your host, Elena Wilkins, who happens to be me. I'm so excited that you are choosing to listen to this podcast because you're choosing to put your health as your priority. This podcast is dedicated to teaching the most natural, amazing means that you can use to get your health back on track and reclaim the person that you used to be before getting sick. Now, very quickly, before we dive into the good stuff, I just wanted to remind you that this podcast is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. My podcast is not a substitute for professional medical advice. If you have a medical condition, please seek the help of a licensed medical professional. We're not medical doctors, and we do not treat, diagnose, prescribe, or make any claims outside of what we know or what we do. So by choosing to listen to our podcast, you take responsibility for your own actions. And if you hear the testimonials of people who were able to get well, you'll realize that their outcomes depended on their effort and their specific condition. With that said, let's jump into today's topic. Please enjoy. Gorgeous people, this is Elena Wilkins coming your way with a special interview today. You've already met Natalie, and if you have not, make sure to go to our previous podcast to listen to her interview. Natalie reached out to me just about 6 months ago or so when she was been already suffering with hypothyroidism for a few years. Very young, in her mid-20s, already on medication with symptoms so severe that she could not leave her house. In her mother's words, her daughter became somebody she could not recognize. The life was taken out of her. Natalie came to me with already an improved diet compared to many people. Yes, she was still struggling. So we went to working together, and within 2 months, Natalie was at an excellent 75% improvement, but she did not want to stop there. So we kept working together. At 3 months, she was at 90%. And then at 4 months, she was at a full 100%, getting out of the house, going, seeing her friends, no more brain fog, no more medication, no more supplements, beautiful life filled with dreams. And she went from being a model and an actress to changing her dreams and changing her future. And now she is headed toward education in nutrition. So the first interview we spent with Natalie talking about her success, how it was possible. This time around, I wanted to bring her mom, amazing Amelia, gorgeous Amelia, who raised her, and wanted to get her perspective on how it was for her to see her daughter go through this heart-wrenching experience of seeing her daughter disappear and then come back to life as if she was coming back from the dead. So get your listening ears on. This is going to be a fantastic, very lively interview. Enjoy it, and then I'll talk to you at the very end of this episode. Tonight, I'm bringing your way two amazing women. They're gorgeous, they're sexy, and they're both supermodels in my book. And they're coming to us all the way from Argentina. Natalie worked with me a few months ago, and some of you had already had a chance to meet her in one of the interviews. And then Natalie and I were talking recently, and because Natalie's in her 20s and her mom was a part of the decision-making process. Should you work with Elena? Should you not? What's going on? I said, would it be possible for your mom to come and share her perspective on how this works? So Natalie, of course, had to twist her arms a lot. You know, Natalie worked her magic, and mom said yes. So I'm super excited to welcome Natalie and Amelia, Emmy, today. And we're going to kick it off. So we'll have people tuning in as we're talking right now. Gloria is already saying hello to you ladies. Hi, Gloria. And by the way, if you're catching us right now, just tell us where you're from and if you have a hormone imbalance, what you're struggling with as we're jumping in. Meanwhile, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start having this conversation, and Amelia already asked me to slow down. So I'm going to slow down. If I don't remember, just type in Elena slow down. But I wanted to kick off just with a general question. Now that Natalie, for you, Amelia, Natalie has come a long way from, I think it was about 6 months ago, right, Natalie, that you and Dimitri had a call to where you are now, and you were a part of the discovery call. How has it been for you to see first Natalie get sicker and then get better? How was it for you as a mom?
It's great to see her like her, because this is Natalie. This is the real Natalie, yeah? She felt bad and I felt bad because I didn't know what to do to help her, to be helpful. And I was really sad because I saw her sad or crying or being alone. It was really hard. It was a hard. There were hard moments for us, for me and for my husband. We didn't know what to do and how to help her. So when she said, "I have an interview online, can you come?" I said yes. What else can I say? Said
I didn't tell her what it was about. I just said, "Mom, I need you to come tomorrow to my place." I don't remember, like 4 o'clock. She came here. I said, "Listen, this is going on." Like I scheduled an interview, so she had no idea what was going on.
She didn't know what was going to be surprising for her. So Amelia, at this point, you have already though seen Natalie going through therapists. So you were working with a therapist, Natalie, also a medical doctor. So she was on medications and supplements and trying new diets.
And I went with her. We went together for many doctors, and I felt more than sad, and because they treated her as she was crazy, and I knew she wasn't crazy. That someone has to find the point. See, to have a relation with her and to find another way. She needed someone to hurt her.
Yeah. So for you, when the doctor thinking that she's crazy, you know that is not your little girl that you raised, that she's not crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I know. I knew it. I was sure that she wasn't crazy.
But so for you, Amelia, Natalie, it was what, 3 to 4 years when you were sick, right? Was it a huge change in Natalie's personality before she got sick to when she's really sick? How was it for you to see that decline happen?
I didn't recognize, first I didn't recognize her because Natalie was always sure of herself. She knew what she wanted and how to get it. She went to study to New York once and she had everything prepared and we didn't know anything. But she was sure that she's going to be to New York to study.
Yeah.
And suddenly she could not take decisions. She was frozen. She wasn't Natalie. It was hard to recognize her. And I thought, what happened with her? Yes, what happened to Natalie? Where is she?
And Natalie, for you, so you were gone. If mom thinks that you are not there anymore, how was it for you to go through that?
I'm getting emotional already because it's really hard to hear it from my mother. I was losing my mind, and it was the same. Like I didn't recognize myself. Just as she said, I did the audition. I didn't tell anybody. I was sure I was going to get what I wanted. I did get what I wanted, and then everything fell apart. That was exactly it. I was frozen. I didn't know how to handle anything. I felt that my life was ending, like I didn't know how to keep going, and nobody could help me. And I would go to a therapist, they wouldn't help me because I knew there was something else. Like I knew, of course, it's emotional. I know everything starts from emotion. We know it's like that. Like we always had that point of view, but like I was crying and crying and crying, and nothing was happening. Nothing was getting better. And it was that, like, I didn't know what to do. And I felt all alone. I started to miss my friends. They didn't understand what was going on. I just didn't want to see them anymore because I didn't have the energy or the emotional part. I was just not there. And with my family, it was the same. Like nobody knew what to do to help me. And I felt that nobody could help me at that point. And I would go to one doctor to another and cry in front of the doctor, telling, listen, there's something that's wrong. And they would say, no. Like, you are okay. You're just stressed out. You're okay.
It's all in your head.
Go to everything, yeah.
Yeah, it's all in your head. That's what they usually say. You need to take some psychiatric drugs. You need therapy. So I have a 5-year-old, Amelia, and for me to imagine that my baby would go through that, I can't even wrap my head around it. For you, you raised her and you went through seeing her vanish, like going from a confident woman, a model and an actress to locking herself in the house. So when we first met Natalie, she stayed home pretty much for most of the time. I personally, I just couldn't imagine as a mother right now. I'm getting emotional. I want to run upstairs and grab my little one just to say, oh my God, I will never let that happen to you. But it's
because you ask it to happen to you, not to her.
Yeah.
Not her, not your baby. If someone has to, perhaps you prefer to be in her place, no?
Yeah.
And in another side, I'm a strong woman, and I know that she can, and I know what she can. So here we are.
And it's fantastic. So Natalie at least knew she, and by the way, there are ladies that are saying hello right now. Let's see. We have Gina, Melissa, Yvette, April, Lay, we have Fidelina and Jacqueline saying hi to all of you. And there are more people tuning in because there is so much of hopelessness out there. And I know a lot of people are watching right now. It's like, okay, Natalie is young. Is it possible for somebody who is older? And of course we have a client right now. She's 74 years old. So this is possible for many, but we're talking right now to a 25, right, Natalie, or 25-year-old. So that happened for you. And so Amelia, was it crazy for you an idea when you were talking to Dimitri? So he was doing the discovery call with Natalie and he's talking, and we usually do this. We'll look at the problem, we'll look at the dreams, and we see if we can deliver on those. And there is a point where he says, okay, we can help. Or was it really something that you believed, or was it too hard to believe?
It was strange because it is completely different to other things. But as she was confident, so I said, okay, let's try it. And I don't know how to explain it, but when you see your baby or your daughter, or your son, in such a way, you can, if she asks me for the moon, I could bring her the moon.
Yes.
And
yes.
So
nothing like mama's love.
I didn't hesitate. When she said, I want to do this, I talked to my husband, and without a word, he said, yes.
Yeah.
Let's help her.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Actually, yeah, that's right. Actually, we were together in the discovery call, but then she said, listen, you need to talk to your father. Like, you have to call him. And I was like, okay, like this is going to be hard. I need to be prepared. I need to really talk to him. I need to explain him what this is about. So I grabbed the phone. She was with him already. I grabbed the phone and I said, Daddy, listen, the program is like this, like this, like this. And he said, okay, just like that. He said, yes. And I was so prepared to let him know why this was the best choice and why I should do it. And he started to cry, actually. And he said, yes, do it. Like, what do you want? Do it.
You ladies are going to make me cry by the end of this interview because I'm super emotionally involved here because we work with women every single day. And of course, we know when we work with the woman, we change the community around her. But for you, so for Natalie, she's a baby and, well, your baby, and she's a grown woman, of course, for others. But she's gone through this, and to see the impact that it's making her health, the lack of her health was impacting you as a mom, it was impacting the father, was probably impacting brothers, and Natalie was impacting your career, and all of those things were influenced just by one person being sick. The whole community was stuck in the ripple effect here.
Yes, yes,
that's true.
It's right. Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So, fast forward a little bit, and we're a few weeks in. I think Natalie was at like 2 or 3 weeks before Natalie saying, "Oh, I'm starting to feel better." So, were you sharing with your mom as you were going through this?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, of course we have our fights and everything. Like we are daughter, and she's my mother, of course.
It can be worse.
Yeah, I can be a sunshine, or I can be a difficult person, of course. But I would go to her house to have the tea, like twice a week maybe, and because she lives like 2 blocks away. And I would share with her all the time, like, listen, this is, and also I'm learning this and this and this, and I want to teach you what I'm learning because I'm seeing results. Actually, last week we had the dinner with my entire family, and I was like, telling them, like, listen, I learned this. I want you to know, like, the tapping and this, and so everything.
Yes, and we began.
Yeah, and everybody was tapping with me. So this is
You were doing EFT with them.
Yeah, or 7 people in around the table, and we were all like doing this and this.
Oh, that's too much fun. Yeah, for all of you who are tuning in right now, you have no clue what all of that means. Well, we use a lot of techniques in the program. So in 360-degree hormones, we use diet as the foundation. Then we address deficiencies when they are. And then we concentrate a lot of our time working with neuroscience, epigenetics. So anything that we can help to fix the mind, because like Natalie said, a lot of the problems start with emotional issues in our life. Somewhere, somehow, it could be a little thing that blows up into a big thing. So we're doing EFT. One of the client calls, and Natalie learned that was helping her. And she was, and if you never heard of EFT, it is tapping. So where you tap meridian points, and there's a process we go through to actually come down the amygdala and get to it. So to see a group of 7 people doing that at the same time at dinner table, that would be very funny, especially this part.
Yeah, no, everything. And you wouldn't imagine they're gigantic, like really big people. And they would be like people with me. So that was really funny. And actually, I have to be honest, my entire family support me in this journey. So my siblings, they are amazing. And I'm sure if for some reason my parents wouldn't be able to help me, they would be the one who would say, okay, you have to do it. Like, I know that I would be able to count with them.
You have a dream family, because we do sometimes have either the wife really, really wants to, and the husband says, no, go back to your doctors, or, the girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever else. So to have a family that is backing you this much, it actually provides for additional layer of healing, which makes it much faster. So you're not working against the forces, and there's no anxiety over, oh my God, they're going to think I'm crazy because now I'm walking around and tapping or doing something else. The whole family is tapping with you. So that goes, Amelia, to your credit, that you raised such a family that is so close knit to allow Natalie to heal. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, a few weeks in, and Amelia, did you see how Natalie started to come back? I know for her it was gradual, like she was coming back, and in our meetings we'd see Natalie first few weeks, she was like this, and then Natalie began to smile, and then Natalie began to laugh. So I watched Natalie like she was being born again. How was it for you to see her come back to life?
When first I began to see the changes, I didn't say anything, just in case. So I prefer to be quiet and silent. And I was waiting her to tell me, hi mom, I'm feeling better today. I went to the gym, or I did blogs, or I rode my bike, and today I feel good. And I spent 2 days feeling good, or a week feeling good. So it was step by step, and you could see the difference in Natalie.
I didn't know that.
There are so many things.
Moms are amazing. Moms are amazing, aren't they? Moms see everything. I can speak. My mother raised 14. I'm the youngest out of 14, so I can tell that. And I have an only child, and I still see everything. So there is a lot to go for mother's intuition and for mother's faith in you. And so Natalie now knows a lot about the energy healing as well. And so that mama's energy field was encompassing you in that as well, and allowing you to heal faster, which is fantastic. And Natalie, I remember the times when we were celebrating one day better. So one day a week, Natalie was feeling better. Now it's 2 days and 3 days. And we were counting like, Natalie, how many great days did you have this week? And for her was not, we had clients who sometimes, Amelia, go overnight. They're like, oh, I felt really, really bad. And 2 or 3 weeks later, I'm fantastic. No more work need to be done. I just need to get this. And for Natalie, it was more gradual. And I see that she was like growing into something, and then she would question it, and then she would grow it. And one day, from what I remember, Natalie fired her therapist.
Yeah.
So how was that?
It was after I talked to you and Jesse, actually, because I was getting so much better, and every time I would go to the therapist, I would go backwards, but so hard. And I said that I remember I talked to you, and then after talking to you, I said, okay, that's it. Obviously this is not working. I've been there for 3 years. Yeah, 3 years for sure. And this is not working. I talked to you and I said, listen, I'm not going to go to Sonia's anymore. I'm going to find a new one because I like the space. I like to talk about what's going on in my life, but from a different perspective. And that was a good call.
Yeah. And then the second therapist did not last long. Did the person?
No, I'm still going. I'm not like, wow, but it's like, okay, I want to talk about this. Let's go and talk about it, but nothing like way too deep or to go to the past and the childhood and all that. For me, it was not working. Maybe for somebody else, it does.
Well, no, it's a valid point that you think it might, and we've seen that maybe, and it is the old way of doing things. We call it talk therapy, and talk therapy really doesn't give you outcomes as fast. It usually puts you back to the childhood, back to somewhere else, where what we were doing is creating your future the way you wanted it and collapsing it into your present and making that happen. So now when you go hang out with your therapist, you can talk about, oh, this is what I see in my future. That's a totally different feel as opposed to going back and digging up things that really they're gone. So
exactly.
three years.
I talked about going to college. So yeah, it's the future. So it's bringing the future to the now.
Yeah. So 3 years of talk therapy versus 3 months with the crazy people.
With the crazy Russian.
Yeah, the crazy Russian, it takes an Argentinian and a Russian to get well. So for you, Natalie, and for you, Amelia, looking back, that was 6 months ago when you made the decision to say yes, Natalie, yes to Natalie. Was that worth it as a mom for you to see this investment come back and your daughter coming back?
If I have to do it, I hope I don't have to do it again. But if I have to take the decision, I don't hesitate. As I did not hesitate the first time, I don't hesitate now because I see Natalie and she feels good and she is happy and she's so pretty again. Oh.
I love it. The best moment ever. And she is beautiful. And Natalie was always beautiful, but when she allowed that inner beauty to come out for her, my husband is like, oh my goodness, I need to adopt her. She can be my little sister. She doesn't have a little sister. He's totally in love with her that way. And he adores Natalie. So don't be surprised if we steal her away to America one day.
I hope so. Yes, no problem about that. I have no problem.
So
I can talk to her again.
Awesome. Well, you'll come to visit all the time because, Natalie now is, and for those of you who are just tuning in, I'm talking to Natalie, who was able to heal herself from hypothyroidism and come off medication and supplements and many, many symptoms in a matter of less than 4 months altogether, as compared to 3-4 years of medications and supplements and talk therapy. And that happened really fast. So what I want to do next is going to be talking to you, Natalie, a little bit about those who've never seen you before, and we've done an interview with you before. You came in already, so I promote a whole foods plant-based diet as healing. Many people will call it vegan, but not all of our clients vegan, so I don't call it that. But you were already raw vegan, and you were doing things, and you were still not seeing outcomes. You were trapped with those symptoms. Yeah. So sometimes we have this misconception as people out there. So fix the diet and everything is fixed. And that was the thing that I worked with in the past with clients. We fix their diet, we have outcome, but it was not 100%. So that's when we began to do a lot of mindset work and just going deeper and healing the person inside. So for you, most of your healing, did you feel that it happened with the diet or the mindset work?
The mindset, for sure. For sure. As you said, I was already growing, and probably I was doing some things wrong. Like, I'm sure and positive I wasn't doing.
Yeah, the things that we fixed.
Yeah, for sure. And I was really skinny, so probably like there were some things that were not working. Like the energy and everything was not good. So when I started when I transitioned the diet, I did got a little bit better. That's the truth. I saw the biggest results when I started to do the mindset. When I started to really commit to visualize my future, to feel it, to ask myself, what is it that I really wanted? Why was I being sick? Like, what was going on with me? Was I doing what I really wanted to do it? Was it worth it? Did I have to make some other changes in my life? How was it that I wanted to spend the rest of my life like? And that's when I started to see real results. Like, that's when I started to connect to myself.
Yes.
And actually, there is something funny here. Now, as you already told, like all the community knows, I'm pursuing like a health coach and nutrition and everything. And she reminds me all the time, this is what you wanted to do from the beginning. I don't understand where you were with acting. Like, you always wanted to be a doctor. And so it's crazy how, yeah, like I felt it was fine. It was okay. I'm not regretting it at all. But in the end, I came back like to the basics. Like, since I was a little child, I would say,
yes.
Right?
She was 7 or 8, and she said, I want to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing that it took for you to get sick? And so Natalie went through being a model, being an actress, and then coming back full circle. And I remember when we were having this conversation, Natalie, and around your graduation. So what do you want to do with your life? You're like, Elena, I want to do nutrition now. So it sounds like it was not a shocker for your mom at all, Amelia. It was not like you were surprised. Like, you're going back to your roots.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually it was a friend of mine who told me, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, come to your senses. So I remember that I sat to the table and I said, okay, this is going to be a hard conversation because I was still living with them at this point. And I said, I want to change my career. I want to go to the nutritionist. To the nutrition, I don't know how to say it, like to get the nutrition degree. And both of them, they said, yeah, like that makes sense. that makes a lot of sense.
Finally, she realized what she has to be, no?
Yeah, what I really want from the beginning, yeah.
And we knew it.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing to see these dynamics. And I appreciate having the mother here because sometimes we see like, it's a surprise for me. It's like, oh, Natalie, she doesn't want to be an actress. Everybody wants to be an actress. She's like, no. She said, Elena, what can I do? Can I work for you? I'm like, well, you don't have what it takes yet. But so she started doing intern work for me and doing research for me and doing all things. And right now, and I wanted to see how long will that last? You know, how long is that going to happen? But she stayed. We were having a conversation the other day and she's like, no. I really want to do nutrition. So it feels like you found yourself, you found your health, and you rediscovered your calling.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yes. Yes, for sure.
And she does everything with passion. So yeah, she's going to be a good doctor.
But it's exactly that. Like, I'm really passionate about this. So I'm all day like learning. You said about tapping. So I go there and I look for the book and I research and I already watched the documentary. Like, I'm like that because I understood that this is natural for me. For me, it's not a job. I know it's weird to be saying this, being you my boss, but it is true. So yeah, but it's true. So I have free time now. Like I know that I have the time. So in my free time, I keep looking and searching. And this is exactly what I was doing while I was sick. I would keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. So that's why it is making so much sense to me. Like, okay, now that I'm healed, I can heal other people.
There you go. And for most of us, for a lot of us, and I am somebody's little girl as well, Amelia, and my mother's, but I went through the same thing when I was really sick and I was in depression for 5 years and there was a lot of illness in my body. And I was a physicist and an engineer by training. And when I finally healed myself, I said, if I can help another person not to go through the same hell that I've been through, I'm all in. And so when Natalie says I'm constantly searching, I used to spend 5 to 10 hours a day reading and researching. And my bookshelf behind me is only a portion of what I've read in the last 10 years. It's just a drop in the bucket. So we look at everything holistically. So there are practitioners out there, Natalie already know, they will either use just the medicine or just the vitamins or just the talk therapy or just, just one thing at a time. And me, because I went through the same pain, I saw that everybody had like a little drop of truth, but nobody wanted to put it together. So we went and we put it together to where there's the neuroscience, the epigenetics, the nutrition, the fitness. And now, Natalie, I know one of the big things for you, you can actually, you're actually working out now where before you couldn't do this. And so putting it together, making sure that we approach the whole person, like spirit, soul, and body experience on that level, as opposed to just let's shove down a pill or a vitamin or something else. And, oh, it's all in your head. You need to go just rest. So it doesn't work that way. So from a cocoon to a butterfly in just a few months, it was transformational to see you happen. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, I'm talking to Natalie, who healed herself of hypothyroidism after over 4 years of suffering. And then in a matter of 3 to 4 months, she was symptom-free. And now she quit her career as an actress and her mom does not mind. And she is now getting ready to go back to school and study nutrition. And she's my intern. And now we're going to bring her on staff to do a lot of amazing work, because we're ready to save as many women as possible around the world, and guys, of course, but we mostly work with women because women just are more receptive to seeing, okay, there's a problem, I need to fix it. So if you're just tuning in, this is what's going on. And if you missed a part of this conversation, make sure to go to the beginning to watch it. But for me, it's been nothing but amazing. Natalie is my top of the line student who did everything I asked her, like even the craziest thing, like tapping, and she would do that. And we say go visualize, and she spent, instead of meditating, visualizing for 20 minutes a day, she went and did it for 2 hours, and it showed for the outcomes were apparent there, that she is there like, I'm not messing around. She is my dream client. I'm not messing around. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And when it got rough, and in 2 months we're at 75% improvement, and that was huge to start with, but she's like, no, I need to get to 100. Take me to 100, and we're going to go for 100. And this was our mantra. And I just wanted to see the people that she's already impacting lives. So it's not like Natalie has to go until she goes to nutrition school or anything else. You already have your family participating in your healing, and that is huge.
Yeah. Well, actually, now my dad, of course, he wouldn't listen to me, of course, but he's homeopathy doctor. She said because he has like some things in the skin, like it breaks out. So she said, you should stop eating gluten and stop the dairy. So he would listen to her. So now my dad is like somehow getting closer to the diet as well. So that's good. Like those are things and changes that I would never thought would happen. And for me, I don't know how to explain the feeling. Like for me, it's the most way of loving somebody to I don't know, like to give the right food and to say the right things. And yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So those of you who are watching us right now, and if you have a million of questions, start posting them right now. So that way Amelia, Natalie, and I can answer them for you. And we're going to cover as much of that as possible in the next 15 or so minutes, because I appreciate the time that both of you ladies are giving us today, and I don't want to take it for granted. So we had another interview with Natalie alone. If you're wondering what kind of changes she made specifically and other things, we discussed it at length in that interview. I'll make sure to link up to it after this interview. This was more for a perspective of those of you who have spouses and who have either children who are sick, or you're sick and you have spouses or parents who are on the sideline watching and not sure, should I really be considering alternative methods to get somebody well? I wanted you to meet people like Amelia, that they've made that decision and they backed in this case, her daughter's desire to do it the natural way, and then they saw the miracle happen. And oftentimes we end up having, we talk to clients and their husbands are not on board, or their kids are not on board, or somebody else. And this is a great opportunity to see that when you have family support, the healing can happen much faster. Although when there's no family support, the healing can still happen, but then you have to become your own advocate and you have to make a decision. This is about me. We get to talk to a lot of women. It's like, I need my husband's permission, or, I need my parents' permission. At the end of the day, your health is responsibility of only one person, and that is yours. It's not really Amelia's responsibility. Was not. Amelia, go ahead.
Excuse me, but if you go from one doctor to another one, and you don't find the solution, why don't try something different? Yeah. A different proposal. Perhaps that's the answer. Sometimes same things don't work for everyone. So you have to try different things to give chances to make something not regular, let's say, something different, something new. Why not?
Yeah, why not? I always tell people, sometimes I talk to people and they say, Yelena, what if I say yes and I work with you? What if nothing happens? And I always tell them, but what if it happens? What if every single one of your wildest dreams come true? Or what if the doctor's success rate, what if we look at cancer, for example, right? Cancer healing, 2% survival rate after 5 years. And people who still go through the traditional treatments and chemo and all the crazy stuff for 2%. Our client success rate is at 100%. That means everybody gets an outcome. So whether it is going to be 20, 30, 50, or 60, or 80, or 100%, everybody gets to improve. So would it be worth for you to get 20% better, or 30%, or 100% better? And certainly, are you willing to fight for yourself at the end of the day? And Natalie, you were a part of that conversation yesterday. We had our client call. And somebody said, what if it doesn't work for me? And we make a decision with our clients, Amelia, just like we did with Natalie, that is not even a question. The moment you get into Yelena land, the crazy land, we never say if it happens, we say when it happens. And then without a fail, those who are willing to fight for when, the when happens really quite quickly.
Yeah. And I like to stress something. For me, it did take more time, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be in 4 weeks, or it doesn't have to be in 2 months, or you are done. At some point, I thought about that, I was putting so much pressure on myself. By now, I should be at my 100% now. This is not working for me, and this is all that I will get. I was getting better, but I was not where I wanted to be. Mm-hmm. And if I have to be honest, now I'm in the place where I feel that I know that I'm going to wake up with energy. I just know it. It doesn't matter at what time I go to bed. Like sometimes this is not okay, but sometimes I'm going around 1 or 2 in the morning. I wake up and I have energy and I'm fine. Maybe I'm a little bit tired during the day, like a normal person, like a regular person, and that's okay. And I still get to enjoy myself, and I get to spend my days. This week, actually, I got to see so many friends, which was awesome. And for me, it took more time, and I have to respect that. And I would encourage the people who is watching to trust yourself and to give the time that you need, knowing that you're going to heal.
Right. And I think a great point here would be for those of you who are just joining, when Natalie says more time, it was not 2 years or 20 years. It was normally we see outcomes by 60 to 80% within 2 months, and Natalie says 75% in 2 months. And so I have our clients rate their progress. And she was shooting, she said, forget the 75%, forget the 90%. I want me 100. And 100 took you just over 4 months to get to, but to put it into just comparison of over 4 years of medications and doctors and talk therapy, 4 months later, that's still, quite radically quick. It didn't happen for me that quick when I was sick. So it is possible. So when we're putting it in perspective, say you might take a little bit of time. A little bit of time is not years and years later. Usually within the first few months it happens. But yes, giving yourself grace, understanding your situation. This is what's lacking in the medical field is you go to a doctor and everybody's like, take a pill, go home, take a pill, go home. It doesn't work because I got to know Natalie, like, what is your life like? And maybe I know too much and Amelia does not know, but how's your family life? How's your relationships? We looked at everything. What is broken? What needs to be fixed? And a lot of times the doctors don't know. They're not prepared to do that. A lot of nutritionists, they're missing it because they're only dealing with nutrition. So I have a team that we work in every aspect of this, but it's a great point to bring up. We need to be gracious on ourselves and not to give up too quickly on things that we know that work. So we have hundreds of scientific references that our clients are given, like, this is the reason it's going to work. This is how it works. And you are one of those who took a full advantage of that. Now, with that, we have a question from Brenda right now. Brenda is a new client in our program, and she's just starting out, so she's going to get amazing outcomes as well. But Brenda has a question for you, Natalie. What did you have to change in your diet? And from my perspective, it was not too much. We got Natalie off of all the raw vegan because I don't believe that raw vegan is sustainable, although sometimes it's possible. So we're doing a lot of fine tuning, but like Natalie said, it was going beyond the diet. So Natalie, if you want to just get like an overview of the things that you remember we might have changed for you.
Of the diet, well, first of all, I started to eat cooked food. And I think that made a huge difference with the calorie intake. Probably I was not getting like the nutrition that I needed and the calories that I needed to support myself during the day. With the diet, it was just that I didn't change.
And the quantity.
And the quantity, yeah. And I'm eating like big meals because I don't realize, and I don't know why I eat less usually than what I'm supposed to eat. So I'm like focusing on eat more.
Isn't it preposterous ideas for most of you who are listening that you go into a health plan and they're saying eat more instead of less? Because most programs will tell you cut down on your calories. I talk to women sometimes who are on HCG diet, 500 calories a day plus all the crazy stuff that they do. But here you're coming in, and one of the things that you said, Yelena, what else can I do? I said, eat more.
No, actually, she would say like for Friday we gathered the entire family. So she would see me eat potatoes. So she would say, is that like, are you sure that's not too much? Why don't you eat a little bit less? And I said, no, Elena said that I should eat more. So I'm eating more, don't bother me. Then I go to the gym.
I said, instead of potatoes, so many potatoes, don't you want a little bit, do you want
salad or veggies or whatever?
Salad here.
Well, we have seen that worked, and it doesn't mean that we're going crazy on calories here, but it needs to be enough to sustain the life. And for Natalie, she needed to regain all of the nutrients and minerals that she was missing by malnourishing herself before, by getting just all of that back into her system. Another question for you, Natalie, and Amelia, you can chime in on this one, is from Michelle. And she says, how did you change your mindset? So I know while we cannot pack 8 weeks of what you were doing or 12 weeks into one sentence, but if you can just do a quick overview, how you saw in yourself, Natalie, what you needed to address.
I had this very negative view of the future, like really negative. I thought if it wasn't this, maybe it was going to be a different disease, or that I was not going to heal, or like I was so used to being sick. So I just was trapped there. So I had to do a lot of meditation. I had to be extremely conscious about what I was thinking. And I had every time that I would cut myself with a negative view of myself or the future, then I would have to cut myself and like reprogram the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So like to fool myself with positive, with a positive mind, with positive thoughts. Yeah. And I would write a lot about what I want for the future. And this is the weird thing. I usually read what I wrote. Everything that I'm writing is happening. So yeah, I just write.
Did you write? You must have written in there that you're going to work with Yelena one day.
Yeah, I did. Of course I did. I'm so great. I wrote, I'm so grateful for my job. I don't remember exactly how, but working with Yelena for my job and this and that. And like three months later, I'm here. And with my hair, which is, it's beautiful again. It was, I used to have beautiful hair, like beautiful.
Curls, with curls.
Yeah, like this, amazing. And it was falling so bad. And of course, I wrote down so many times, I'm so thankful for my hair, my long, bright, beautiful hair, and for the exercise as well. So many times. And of course, I still have some things that I'm writing and I'm waiting for them to happen. But since I've seen everything else happening, so I'm very confident that it's going to happen as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's fantastic. And Fidelina is saying that I love that the mind is so powerful, either for negative thoughts or positive ones. Yes, people never talk about we always talk about placebo. Placebo is when your mind, people thought tricks you, but it's not tricking. We actually use a placebo on purpose with our clients, that your mind, your thoughts can heal you. But there's also a thing that is known as nocebo. Nocebo is when your thoughts can make you sick or kill you. So we walk in a fine line of watching our clients, just, what words are you saying? What thoughts are you thinking? What foods are you eating? How are you sleeping? All of that plays a role. And Jacqueline has a question I see. What kind of support did you get from this program? I know I can get into moments of panic and anxiety. Did you have someone to talk to at times like that? Could you have made these lifestyle changes without the program?
I remember one specific time. I was taking almost nothing, levothyroxine, but like 25, which is nothing. And you said, in the first interview, you said you have to stop taking it right away. And they were traveling, so I can. And my mom said, "Why don't you wait for us to be there?" Because they knew that I would freak out so bad. And I said, "No, I'm going to do it right now." I did it, and I started to freak out so bad. I started to have all the symptoms, which didn't make sense.
Yes, you did.
And I said, "Okay." I remember it was like 9 p.m. here. And I was like, I need to talk to Elena. And I started to email you, and you would answer right away, which was something that comforted me so much, because I remember I wrote to you, I'm freaking out. I'm having all the symptoms again. I don't know if this is a good idea. I know that I have to wait, but would you say maybe I should go back to medication and this and that and this and that? And you would talk to me and tell me, it's your choice. If it's better for you, if you think it's going to be better for you to take the medication again, you can do it. I don't think it's going to benefit you. And I said, at that point, I said, okay, trust. Like you need to trust her. And I knew that I had the support that I needed, which was something that I really I really needed it, because I would freak out for everything. I was so scared of stop taking the medication, which was not helping. But in my mind, I had to take the medication.
And this is, Jacqueline, this is where the power of the mind really shows up. We have a lot of people who come to us and supplements and medications and herbs and doing different things. I had a client once on 7 medications and over 20 supplements, or almost 30. And when we said, okay, you can remove this from your intake, the brain just freaked out. This person was like, oh my God, I know it's not helping me, but I cannot let it go. What am I going to do without it? So it's like a crutch. This is where your mind was comfortable. This is where you are. And the question that you had, could you have done it yourself? Normally you can't, because if you don't have that strength within you, the wisdom to know what symptoms to expect as a detox, or how long it might take for you to go through this process. Is it possible for people to do it on their own? It's always possible, but is it something that you want to spend the rest of your life doing on your own? That's the question that you truly should ask. So Natalie did not want to be sick for another year, 2 years, 3 years. She wanted her life now. So when she came to us, that was it. It's like, I need accountability. It was me. I have a mindset coach that works with our clients. We have a community manager that hops in, and there's that support that you need to know what is normal. You need to know when it's normal to freak out. I have a client right now. She's like, I told her, I said, we're ready to take you off this medication. Talk to your doctor. She's like, no, I think I need to go slowly. And this is her comfort zone, and we're going at her pace, because if her mind freaks out too much, we can create a disease out of nothing. So you just know, and having the power to balance things between the diet, between the mindset, and Natalie knows. Remember, Natalie, when you got more energy a few days a week and you're like, I'm going to go work out. And they're like, Natalie, not yet. And Natalie goes, works out, and then she's plastered on her bed, like, I can't move, because her body was not ready for it yet. But when she came back and said, this is what happened, I said, this is normal, because we see that happen to our clients all the time. If you get too eager, too fast, this is what happens. And for her, it's like, oh, okay, so it's going to work. I just need to give it more time, as opposed to, it's not working, I'm done, I'm going to go back to talk therapy, take more medication. So I hope that answers your question. Now, if anybody else has any questions, post them now, because we are getting to the close of this interview. Time flies when you have fun, and we've been on for almost 50 minutes right now. So I know, right? So Amelia, thank you so much for joining me. I know you're busy, you're traveling a lot, you're doing things, and Natalie, she's transforming, and I'm glad that she has a mother like you to give her the support that she needed to get where she is now. And Natalie is just, we're just getting her to start working for me, and we're going to get her trained. She's going back to school to get the education. We already have a plan for taking over Argentina as well.
Oh, please. I'm very grateful. Thank you. Thank you, Elena.
Thank you. And Natalie, thank you so much for opening up your heart to everybody for the second time.
Yeah, how lucky am I to have this as a mother? We have our fights and everything, but when I see how people are not supporting the love, their lover, the loved ones, I don't know how to say it. Like, when I think about my family.
You got it, the loved ones. They're not supporting their loved ones.
When I think about my family, I couldn't be more grateful. I'm so happy.
Well, there could not be a better note to end on, so I'm going to stop. There you have it. Did you enjoy today's podcast? If you did, make sure to subscribe to my show. And don't forget to tell others about it too. If you'd like to get more information about me and what I do, how I help amazing human beings just like you achieve their optimal dream health, go to www.360impacthealth.com to the contact page and shoot me a note. Thank you so much for listening. I will catch you on the next episode of the Health Wizard podcast.